Hello, today I'll show you how to make a model for your CanSat, but before watching my video please watch this tutorial because it will go through a lot of the possibilities of Tinkercad that I won't be discussing today. I will only show you how to make the body of the CanSat itself. So when you go to Tinkercad, you can create a new 3D project or circuit. Today we're only dealing with 3D design. When you create a project, it will give a random name. You can change it to be a 3D CanSat, and please make sure that the snap grid in your right corner is set to 1 millimeter. So on the right we have basic shapes that we can use to create objects. We have a box and we have a cylinder. Now the great thing about this program is that it allows us to, like, for example, unite these two shapes and like transform them into one, and now they are one object. One other thing that I must mention is that you can resize your object to be whatever you want, either by clicking here and setting a number, or by holding shift and then dragging it, and then you can see how big it is. And also you can change the height by clicking on the top button and let's say 50. And if you want to drag it up or down on the plane, you can use the arrow over here. As for how to move it on the plane, otherwise you can just hold click and drag it around. Now let's say you want to make a hole inside of this object. You can just simply drag another object onto the plane and set it to the hole mode. After this you can hold shift and select both of these shapes and then click here to union group. This will create a hole in your object. Now the reason why this is so great, it's because, let's say for example you are doing something else on your project and you don't want to do like Ctrl Z, because then you will lose your new object. What you can do instead is like ungroup the objects and then change how the hole is, or the placement of it. Okay, now I will show you how to make a CanSat body. First we will drag the tube shape onto the work plane and set the wall thickness to be 1 millimeter, and then set the sides to be 66 millimeters each. And then we will set the height to also be 150 millimeters, but if you want to like look around the plane, you can press like the scroll wheel down or press right click down to look around. So to set the height to 115, we'll press on the top button and then write 150 millimeters. And also if we want the shape to not be as geometry as we see here and to be more round, you can set it to max here. Now I will take a ruler from here and place it on the plane to make it easier for me to cut this tube in half. I will use a cube shape and I will resize it so I can cut it in half. Okay. Again, as usual, like if it wasn't exactly in the half, you can like de-group them and then just move it. But in my case, it's about in half. So if you want like a bottom for the CanSat, what you can do is copy this and then paste it with Ctrl copy, Ctrl V, and then set the height of it to be 1 millimeter, and I'll degroup them for a second and set the wall thickness to be 2.5, and then I'll group them again. And now I'll place it under this tube body, and I'll select both of them and then join them in a group. Right now we have half of a CanSat, so if we were to try to like unite them, we don't have like any connector points. So what we can do is like take a side out of the right and then place it on the left. I'll show you. I will use the cube shape, then set it to be the same height as the can, and set the thickness to 2 millimeters. And now if you want to be like more precise while placing this, you can set the snap grid to 0.1. I found it much easier this way. I will place this on the outer side of the can, and before I unite them, I'll make a copy so I can place it on the inner side as well. I will unite these two, but first I need to turn it into hole. Okay. And now I will move on the other side and place it to be on the outside. Don't worry if the color changes, you can set it back to like any color you want just from clicking here and selecting a color. And now we have half a can. In order for us to check whether it fits, we can copy it and then paste it and then rotate it 180, and now we can check. So it's about there. One thing that you can do, like later on, to unite them better, you can place like another shape that you'll use to like screw them together, but you can explore more of that on your own. Now, if for example you wanted to make like a hole for the temperature antenna to be sticking out to get the temperature better, the way to do that would be, you can take a cylinder shape, rotate it 90 degrees, and then set it to be about 2 millimeters on each side. And you can drag it here and then drag it upwards. It is about 35 millimeters, and you can just drag it upwards, set it to be in hole mode, and create a hole where you need it. And if you want to export your file for like 3D printing, you can select STL and then open it in your 3D printing program. This is the 3D printing plate that your object will sit on while it's being printed. And we can see there is a hole. But yeah, Tinkercad is a very fun program. I think it takes like maybe about up to 30 minutes to learn, and I highly encourage you to make your own CanSat body. I hope this video was helpful. There are many other tutorials online as well that you can use, and yeah, thank you.